and welcome back for another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on Podcast, the Sutton Podcast. Joining me today, I've got some more supporters. I've got Andrew and I've got Mark. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello. And as we always do, we're going to start off with the wonderful Who Are You? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first if you want.
Yep,
Sorry.
all right.
Hi, my name's Andrew Youngman. I've been supporting Sutton for a little over 20 years. My first game was in the summer of 1998 where my dad and my granddad took me down to a pre-season friendly playing Wimbledon at the time. This was kind of pre-AFC Wimbledon, kind of Wimbledon split, etc. But yeah, I just got really taken in by the place, the surroundings, the ground. I asked lots of questions when I first went down, and then I went to a few games the following season, which was actually the Isthmian League winning season, and then I had a season ticket for the first time for the 1999-2000 season, the season where we had a rather poor season in the conference, highlighted by the trophy run. And been going ever since, really. Love it still through the various times that we've had over the last 2 decades, really.
Excellent. And Mark?
Okay, Mark Bravery, also known as Amber Aleman. My first Sutton game was, I think, the 14th of November 1987, when we played Aldershot in the first round of the FA Cup. I actually went to that game as a neutral because I had an interest in both clubs. I had family connections with Sutton. My mum's from Sutton. I've got an uncle and a cousin who were regulars at Gander Green Lane. But Aldershot was my local club as a lad. I grew up in Farnham in Surrey, which is just a few miles from Aldershot. And I actually went to a couple of Aldershot games in the sort of late 70s, early 80s. So I just went to the game, just hoping for a good match without really wanting either side to win. But as we know, Sutton deservedly won that game 3-0. And from that point on, I was a Sutton supporter. And I went up to Peterborough for the second round match, which of course we won 3-1. That was a great experience. Loved being in the way end up at London Road, Peterborough. And I went to the third round home game against Middlesbrough. Unfortunately, I couldn't get up to the replay at Ayresome Park, because of course in those days, replays were just a few days after the first game, and it was just too short notice for me to get time off work. But obviously I was around for the cup run the next season when we beat Coventry, etc. I started to go to league games regularly around that time. And over the last sort of 30 years or so, I've probably been to at least 90% of Sutton's competitive games, home and away. I used to write stuff for the programme. I'm a shareholder, and I now volunteer in the club office on Thursday mornings, just sort of answering the phone and dealing with emails and callers. So that's me, basically.
Excellent. You also was an emergency standing guest writer for Gandemonium as well, haven't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have realised they're dwindling numbers, so if anyone wants to submit a piece, just let Dan at Gandemonium know. I'm sure he'll be delighted to have anyone helping him out as well, and take the pressure off Mark so he can concentrate on his proper love when he goes to away games, because we know it's not all just about the football for you, is it?
No. I mean, I've got three main sort of leisure pursuits. One of them obviously is following Sutton. One is going to real ale pubs, particularly those in the Good Beer Guide. And the third one is bird watching, or birding as it's sometimes called these days, and sometimes I can do a bit of the others when I'm following Sutton away, which is great.
Excellent. And Andrew, do you get to many away games with your booze, birding and football?
Mainly football, if I'm honest. I do try and get to the away games. I was just looking before I joined the recording today. I think I've done a couple this season, not as many as I'd like, actually. Forest Green, Cardiff. I think I've done Crawley as well. I wanted to get to Rochdale the other week, but I wasn't able to get up there. But definitely going to the Hayes game in the Cup this weekend coming, and the Orient game in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, love the away games. They're obviously a little different from the home affairs.
Yeah, I tend not to go to so many away myself. I tend to be more of the home. It is the length, the day. I know loads of people do, and as I've said loads of times, I'm in awe of everyone who goes up and down the country. But even the Hayes one, which I'm going to next week, is still a couple of hours on public transport. So it's
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still like a good sort of portion of the day. But yeah, it's amazing when you're there, and I think it's because you're all cramped in together more than at home.
Yeah, it just makes it a bit more atmospheric when everyone's together. I think rather than the home games where everyone's obviously dispersed around three sides of the stadium anyway.
Yeah, we've all got our favourite little spots.
Yeah.
Even though someone's favourite little spot is getting more and more crowded as the days go past. But hey, never mind, we won't moan about that. So I wanted to kind of fill in some gaps and talk a little bit about last season to get the lovely job of trying to talk us through the feelings of last season, of the sort of mentalness of going through the whole watching it on TV, on the streams, not actually being there. And did you really believe all the results you were seeing, or how was it for you? We'll start with you, Andrew.
Yeah, it was weird last season, wasn't it? I mean, I went to the Haringey pre-season friendly, which was in between one of the couple of the lockdowns, and it was great to be back watching in person. And then obviously after that, we went back into lockdown again. I felt we had a good squad at the start of the season, and I felt we could have troubled the playoffs, but seriously didn't think we would kind of trouble the championship. But yeah, I mean, as the weeks passed on, we were involved in some great games. I certainly remember the Kings Lynn game at home. We won 5-1, and Alafe got his hat-trick for that one. The Wealdstone away game was on BT. I'm trying to have to rack my brains here and remember these games and results. But that Wealdstone game, we drew 3-0 in the last minute, I think. It was a real good advert for the league. And then, I mean, you turn the year, and we were having to go to these kind of nasty away places like Stockport on a Tuesday night. We won 2-0, and Chesterfield, we won 1-0 at their place. Torquay, I think we drew 0-0 there. We had a run of games in January that were really quite tricky, but we came out of there relatively unscathed. I think we lost at Hartlepool, but won at Stockport and drew at Torquay, or some kind of order like that. And yeah, I mean, when we lost at home to Torquay, yeah, I did question, have we blown it? But no, I mean, we responded, didn't we? And yeah, I mean, the scenes on that Hartlepool game, the Sunday, yeah, just stay with me forever. Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. And Mark, what were your...
Yeah, pretty much the same as Andrew. I mean, we started the season with that home game against Maidenhead, didn't we? And Maidenhead had been a real bogey side for us over the years. They've got a pretty good record at Gander Green Lane, and we beat them. I think it was 3-0 on the first day of the season. We just kind of kept going, and we were right up there at the top, or very close to the top of the table right through. And we kept asking ourselves, can we keep this going? And Andrew mentioned that win at Chesterfield, which I think was around the middle of March. And that was the result which caused me to think we're going to do this, because we were on a great run then. I think we hadn't lost a league game since the end of January. We were on a fantastic run of form, and Chesterfield obviously were a strong side, difficult place to go Tuesday night, and we won the game 1-0. And from that point on, I was fairly confident we'd close out the title. And I said, if we're still top of the table come Easter, we're going to do this. And we were. We had a bit of a flat April. I think we only won one game, and it was a good win at Altrincham, 4-0, very, very emphatic. And then, obviously, in early May, we had that unfortunate defeat at Notts County, which was on BT. We lost for a very late penalty. But apart from that, we were just really strong through May. We won some games and just saw it out quite comfortably in the end. And Andrew mentioned the Hartlepool game, which fortunately fans were allowed back for, and that was when we clinched it, and we could all join in the post-match celebrations, and we all knew we'd be in League Two the next season.
Yeah, for me, I did have a few sulks at the beginning of it, because I may have mentioned before, I was one of the people that got told you have to stay at home and whatnot, and so I felt very, very umbraged against it. And then to have the football not to go to that as well was just a bit irritating. So some of the streams at the start of the season I didn't actually watch because I was just like making myself miserable. But yeah, it was just this strange feeling watching them on TV, which is usually quite a big thing to see us on TV. I know I've recorded them over the years, like, oh, we're on telly, make sure someone records it for me. And then it's like literally we're just watching it on these streams all the time, these little tiny figurines of players, and winning games all the time. You're like, this is some kind of weird reality TV show. We're not really doing this. And yeah, then as you say, the Hartlepool game we actually got to go to, which was a strange. Towards the end, I get what you're saying, whether it was all a big party atmosphere, but I did feel at points during the match that people on TV must be wondering, are they really going for the title? Because I don't think anyone was really celebrating or anything in the ground during the match. I think partway through the match, we suddenly all dawned on us going, hang on a minute, we've just done this. But certainly for a chunk of the match, it was quite nervy, just this feeling around the ground of, is this really happening? What's going on? Maybe it was just the fact that we were just at football for the first time in months and months and months. But then we did it. We become champions, and all Bruce's nightmares, dreams, came true, and all the checks that I need to be written and all the work that I need happening. But I think I'll try and get someone to cover that next time. So for this time, I'm going to just jump onto the Walsall match. I think I probably helped jinx it because I'd gone on to the Walsall Fan TV sort of preview and said it was going to be a good game. Whatever happens, it was going to be a great match. It was going to be really exciting because they're rubbish at defending set pieces. We're great, and it was not a great match to be honest. What were your thoughts on it, guys? If I start with you, Mark.
Yeah, well, you mentioned you think you jinxed it. I think I may have jinxed it as well because my friend Peter and I were the ball sponsors yesterday, and the only previous occasion we'd been ball sponsors a couple of seasons against Bromley, we lost at home. So we're starting to wonder if we should ever sponsor the ball again because we seem to be jinxing the matches where we're the ball sponsors. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think Walsall were a great side, to be honest. I mean, I think Dean made one quite good save very early in the game. They had the free kick, of course, from which they scored. Apart from that, I don't think they threatened our goal very much.
They had a couple of one-on-ones which they blazed wide or over.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I don't remember Dean doing a lot.
And when their leading scorer George Miller got through quite early on to that and blazed over. But as we came close a few times. I think we hit the post once. I think Isaac did, and David Adjaboy hit the bar in the second half. There are a few shots just wide. I think there was one cleared off the line. So we were a bit unlucky, I think, not to get a draw from that game. But that's going to happen at this level. There are going to be a lot of very tight games. And sometimes things will go for you, sometimes they go against you, and they went against us yesterday. But I'm not too disheartened, even though it wasn't a great game and it was one that we lost.
Yeah, I think I actually said on that guy's thing that I didn't want to be seeing Walsall with 5-5-5 of wins, draws, losses, and it matched it up nicely. And yourself, Andrew, how did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I was there yesterday. I thought we did okay. I don't think we deserved to lose the game, I must be honest. We had several chances in the first half that wouldn't quite fall for us. I thought Alave was going to score when he was put through. Shaved the post, didn't it? But yeah, as Mark said, really, lots of games in this division are going to be tight affairs with not much between the sides. And maybe in the second half we might have looked a little bit tired. We're missing a few key players, and I think that was our 8th game in October yesterday. So I think we've got a free midweek coming up, which we'll need to kind of recover and rest up a little bit. But yeah, I thought we deserved something out of the game. I don't know if we did enough to win it, but certainly a draw would have been a fair result, I think.
My view was the game itself was not. If that had been one of your first game at Sutton, you probably would have been like, yeah, I'm not coming back to watch that. I mean, we weren't awful. I mean, we've been spoiled.
Yeah.
So there is a certain amount of okay. What are you expecting, Mike? But it was just a flat game, as you say. It was just things sort of seemed a tiny bit out. There were the balls just weren't dropping to us, and their goalkeeper, we were just putting everything just too close to him. It was literally a couple of inches just within his reach, and if it had been a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, it would have dropped to one of ours. But as you say, it happens. It's football. We can't win every game. It'd be boring if we did win every game. But we've got Eastie, I think, they said he's close. Louis, I think he was warming up with the guys yesterday.
They were both warming up on the pitch.
Oh, they were both warming up.
Yeah.
Excellent. So they should hopefully be close. I didn't hear or didn't retain information about John Barden. Did anyone?
I think he went off on Tuesday at Colchester. I think it was mentioned in the match report, but I don't know what specifically injury-wise he's sustained.
Right, but then we've also got Harry out for a while.
Bennett's suspended as well.
Yeah, but they've done brilliantly, as you say. It's a lot of games in a very short space of time, so they're bound to be tired. I don't care what people say. They're humans. But what we're going to do is have a little think about it for the next few seconds while it plays. But I'm just going to put you both on the spot for your good, bad, and ugly of the week. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but there you go. give you another couple of seconds thinking time because I'll jump in with a good. We got another over 3,000 crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That's I mean, you guys have both supported us for a long, long time. Strange Andrew's the new boy of the three of us with 20 years experience. So we can all know that years gone by, £3,000 we would be delighted about. 3,000 fans would be delighted about, and that'll be our gate of the season. So for me, that was good. And it's a little bit like, oh, only 3,300. Is that all? And it's like, oh, hang on a second. Let's take a reality check again. Let's remember where we are.
Mm.
So that was my good. Bad was, yeah, it was a little bit flat, but it's to be expected. So that's a bit mean to pick that. And ugly, I'm going to try and think on for a second or two because I'm not really sure there was anything that bad that I can remember off the top of my head. But either of you want to jump in with a good, bad, ugly for the week?
Well, I've given it a bit of thought, so
Yep.
I don't mind going first.
Yeah, please do.
I mean, the good, I'm just going to pick out our left backs in the last two games. I don't particularly like picking out specific players because obviously football's a team game, but I think sometimes defenders don't get the credit they deserve, and I think Rob Milson at Colchester just had a great game. He was involved in all three of the goals, 2 assists, and he obviously put the penalty away in between. And he's been a great player for the club, obviously very experienced, very solid, very reliable, and takes a wicked free kick, as we know. Yesterday, he obviously played in midfield, and Ben Wyatt came in at left back. I kind of wondered if there might be a few fans of sucking their teeth a bit and thinking, is he quite up to the physical challenge of League Two? But I thought we had a fantastic game. I think it was possibly our best player. I think he may have got the sponsors man of the match award. I remember one great clearance he made under pressure from inside our box, and I thought he had as a really good game. So 2 great left back performances from different players over the 2 games. Bad, I've been scratching my head a bit because it's actually quite hard to find any negatives in the way we've been playing. Far more positives this season. But, one thing I will mention, and I think you touched on this earlier, Andrew, that I did notice yesterday against Walsall, there are a lot of sort of rather hopeful long balls just sort of lofted into the opposition goal mouth. Not just from corners, but from crosses and the perhaps free kick as well. The keeper that they had, Carl Rushworth, I think his name is, he's on loan from Brighton, so he's obviously a bit of a prospect. And he had no trouble, he just claimed these balls time and time after again, his high balls, under little or no pressure. And I just thought, well, could we try a bit of different type of delivery to try and create a different sort of problem, because he was just dealing with these high balls so comfortably. And to be fair, we did mix it up a little bit, particularly towards the end of the game. We're putting in some different types of ball. But I just thought there were just a few too many of those sort of hopeful balls just sort of lofted into the opposition goal mouth. The ugly, nothing particular from yesterday's game, but obviously in the previous 2 games we had a red card for one of our players at Rochdale and for an opposition player at Colchester. Different situations, of course. But in both those, you had the situation where the players of one team sensing that the opposition might get a red card, sort of surrounding the referee. We've all seen that, and Sutton players do that as well as players from other teams. It was a bit of that at the Colchester game. But I think in the Colchester game, the decision the referee had to make was pretty easy. It was a very clear handball on the line. He had no option but to send their player off, which of course he did. The game at Rochdale, when Richie Bennett got sent off, I thought the situation was less clear. I've actually spoken to Richie. I saw him at the Colchester game, and he said he was going for the ball. I've no reason to question that. But it did look as if he stamped on the player. And, if you're an experienced player, as he is, you should know that if you put your boot anywhere near an opposition player who's on the ground, you're taking a big risk. And as soon as he did that, of course, the opposition players surrounded the referee, and Richie was shown the red card. If that hadn't happened, if they hadn't crowded the ref, would he have made a different decision? We don't know. It's possible that having thought about it for a bit longer, he might have not shown the red card. But this sort of surrounding and hassling of the referee is not something that I think is a particularly pleasant feature of the game. We all know it happens. We've seen it many times. But it's something I think we could do without.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a bit of that with the crowd is like literally every foul. As soon as the referee starts walking over, it's just the off starts, and it's like, oh, come on, it's just he's not going to send him off for that. It's time wasting. He's not going to happen. But good, very valid points. Andrew, did you?
Yep. So I'll start with the good. I'm a bit of a general one. This one really, but Tuesday night's result at Colchester, which I thought was another excellent 3 points on the road. Mentally, I don't know how the players would have felt straight after the Rochdale 95th or whatever minute it was winner for them. But yeah, to come back and get 3 points on the road again on Tuesday, I thought that was a real good response from the squad. So that'll be my good.
Mm-hmm.
My bad point would be the confirmation of Harry Buteman's absence. So we found out on Friday in the preview, I think he's out for 2 to 3 months. I mean, that takes us January, February. I mean, we probably knew that he was going to be out for a little while, but still not great news when one of your key players gets ruled out for quite a while. So that's my bad point. And then my ugly point is sadly yesterday's ref, who I thought had a pretty poor game. I thought he missed quite a lot, to be fair, but we won't talk too much about the referees on this podcast, so I'll leave it at that. That's all I can come up with for the ugly point, I'm afraid.
No worries. Yeah, there was it was getting quite a lot about the goalkeeper taking his time, and it was one where I just decided to watch the score, the clock, just to see, because I was like, right, he is hanging on, and I think it was 19 seconds on one of them, and I was like, all right, okay, they got a point to keep hassling him about that.
I had someone ask me yesterday, like when did they abolish the 6-second rule? Because the refs used to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to that, but why did it ever get scrapped? I don't know.
I don't know.
It should have been brought back in.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday was a joke. How much time he took. There you go.
Is it one of these that's still in place but just isn't enforced by referees?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, this one yesterday, he did do the substitutions from the nearest point, but not always do they do that. Sometimes they just let them wander wherever they like. But, I mean, I did that myself when I was the Sunday League manager. We were hanging on to a game, and my substitution was based on who was the furthest away from me at that precise moment in time, because I made sure. So we've all done it. My ugly is not really ugly. It's not, and also it's probably not fair. But we're getting a bit of whinging and moaning from opponents about the ground.
Oh.
And it's like it's a bit sort of hard, and you feel so defensive, and you want to fight it all the time about, hang on a second, we're it's 120 odd years old, we weren't ever supposed to be here, so give us a little bit of a break and just enjoy it. Yeah, at least it's a different type of ground to the one you're always going to.
We're obviously picking up a lot of like ground hoppers this season, coming on their like day trips to Gander Green Lane, and I see certain posts on Facebook groups.
Yeah.
And you do find yourself having to be a bit defensive about it. I see where you're coming from with that.
I tend to be like that little, the Kermit meme where he's bashing the keyboard.
Yeah.
And then I just sit there going, no, delete all that. Why fight with people on the internet? It's not worth it. But yeah, so that was the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you very much, guys. Clearly thought about it as well. Thank you. So this week, just before we move to the quick preview on the games coming up, we're going to do Pub of the Week, and since I've got you here, Mark, I'll put you on the spot to do it live. So here we go. 1 second. I kid you not, Rosie, my little 4-year-old, sings that around the house. She's going to go back to nursery, or not nursery, school, singing Pub of the Week. So I should be called in for parents' evening, I'm sure. But go on, fire away, Mark, please.
Okay, well, this is the Hayes and Yeading away, isn't it? I mean, Hayes and Yeading is not, frankly, a great area for drinking. So I'm going to pick a pub. It's in Hanwell, which is not too far from Hayes and Yeading, just a bit in towards central London. And there's some good pubs in Hanwell. The one I'm going to pick out is the Dodo Micro Pub in Boston Road, Hanwell, which is one of a number of micro pubs that have opened around London in the last 10 years or so. It's the local Camera's Branches Pub of the Year. But a word of warning, it doesn't open until 3 o'clock on a Saturday. So if you want to go there on Saturday, go after the game. Don't go beforehand, because you'll find it firmly closed. But a good choice of beers and ciders there. Nice, friendly little pub.
That's a throwback to be not opening until late on a Saturday. Wow.
Micro pubs tend to have rather limited opening hours. And they often closed on certain days of the week, typically Mondays, and they often don't open until quite late in the day because they're often just run by one or two people.
Yeah.
You see, so they haven't got a team like big pubs have. So they're relying on one or two people to do most of the work. They have to limit the hours that they're open.
Lovely. Sorry, I just had my little one come in and show me her Halloween outfit that she's off trick or treating in. So I was trying to look at that and go away. So just quickly on to the Hayes and Yeading match. We'll concentrate on that very quickly first. I'm awful at remembering things. I was smiling to myself, Andrew, as you were talking about games from last season that we won this score and that score, and I'm like, I don't remember playing these teams, but okay. But I do have vague memories of being there not too long ago. Do you remember last time we were there at all, either of you?
I'll let Mark answer that. I've never been to Hayes, I'm afraid.
Well, we've been to Yeading a few times, of course. There was a famous FA Cup defeat there, wasn't there? I think in '86. Before I started following Sutton, but it went down in sort of Sutton folklore as just an awful result for the club. But we also played Yeading a couple of times in National League South, Conference South as it was then. But Hayes and Yeading merged, of course, sort of 10, 15 years ago. And they were supposed to be moving into this new stadium. It took years and years to build. I think there was some dispute with the builders. So Hayes and Yeading ground shared with Woking and Maidenhead, and they didn't actually move into the new ground until 4 or 5 years ago, I think. So we won't have been to the new ground unless we went as neutrals for another game that Hayes and Yeading were playing. So it's basically a new rebuilt ground on the site of the old Yeading ground, the Warren.
Lovely. Okay, so at least that pins that. I have definitely not been there before because I'll be wandering around going, I don't recognise any of these buildings. Now, one thing I'd sort of picked out on them is I didn't realise, but I was just having a quick look on their forum, and I think this is the third year they've qualified for the first round. I think the third year in a row, which they're saying is some kind of record for a club at that level, which is definitely something to be wary of. And they've not. They lost on penalties the other day, which I don't count actually as a loss. It's a draw. So they've not actually been defeated on the pitch this season. Are you nervous or?
I think it's going to be a difficult game. I think it's going to be a different sort of game from the ones we've been playing in League Two. I think they're a different sort of challenge, but I think in its own way it will be as difficult as the league games we've been playing. They'll be up for it, as you say. They're on a great run. They haven't lost in open play this season, and it's a different situation for Sutton because in the past we've been used to being the non-league underdogs who sometimes get to play a league club in the FA Cup, and now we're going there as the league club, and they're the non-league club looking to cause an upset. So it's the boots on the other foot, as it were. Obviously, we've only recently come out of non-league, so we're perhaps got a better understanding of the opposition than some other league clubs might have. But even so, I think it's going to be a tough, we've got a rumbustious game. I think both teams will be going for it. I don't think either manager will want a replay. We've already got 2 Tuesday night games scheduled for November, and I don't think Matt will want another one in the middle of the month. So I think both sides will be going for it, and I'm expecting it to be a tough game, but Matt, as I'm sure he always does, will be preparing meticulously. He'll have had the opposition watched. He'll have got information on their strengths and weaknesses. So I think the team will be well prepared for the game.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Andrew?
Yeah, really looking forward to the game, to be fair. I haven't been to Hayes and Yeading's ground, but I expect they'll give us a test. But I think we've got a massive incentive to get into the second round. We've got a free midweek, which I think will help us. Hayes I think they play on Tuesday night in a cup game as well. Yeah, looking forward to it. Ex-Sutton striker Moses Emmanuel plays for Hayes and Yeading as well. I managed to catch their highlights in the first game against Dorking in the last round. They're very athletic. So yeah, I think we'll have to really be on our game to go through on the day. But we should be going there looking absolutely to progress, and I do think we will.
Yeah, I think they've got another guy who's in our youth team. Sort of, I don't think he played many first team games. Shaquille, I think Shaquille Patrick. Yeah. I think I saw his name there, and I thought I recognise that name. Why do I know that name?
He has played for us in the first team. I think it was when we were in the Conference South.
Right. So for me, for the reasons you mentioned, I'm quite nervy because, as you say, we've got this great big target on our back, and again, some of the sound like a really old fuddy-duddy, but some of the newer Sutton fans giving it the old, we should get more tickets. It's like, whoa, hang on a second, let's not, we're not Billy Big Bollocks, let's not start all that. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I don't know why that started playing again. I think I clipped it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go over on Saturday. I'm going to be really, really cheap and actually get the X26 all the way over to Heathrow, and then I think another bus from there. I can't remember the rest of it, but
I didn't think to do that. That could be a good idea.
It takes a while. I think I saw it on the train and everything with all the different changes was about 2 hours, and then doing that bus, it took about 2 hours 20 or something like that. So I was just thinking, but it is one bus and I can just sit there and fall asleep almost. But then we can have a little quick talk about the Wimbledon match. I've not been to any of the Papa John's games. I know some people don't like them with the whole under 23 sides and all the rest of it, but were you guys looking forward to it? Are you going to go to that one?
All being well, absolutely. I went to the Palace game, which was in late August. We ran out 3-0 winners, and then Palace went and beat AFC Wimbledon the other week. I think it's still quite all to play for in this group, apart from Portsmouth, who have lost both their games so far. But yeah, absolutely. I want us to progress. I want us to go quite far in the competition. It's our most realistic chance of getting to Wembley, isn't it? So yeah, hopefully we can seal the deal and top the group, because I think we would then play a runner-up in one of the other southern groups if we top the group.
Mm-hmm. And Mark, yourself?
I've got my ticket for the game, and obviously it's a local derby, which adds a bit of spice. We've got 2 wins, and I think Wimbledon and Palace have each got 1 win. So if we lose to Wimbledon, there's a chance we'll fail to go through. But I think a draw would be enough, the way things are currently standing. I imagine both clubs will put out sort of effectively a sort of second string 11, but we saw at Portsmouth that our second 11 is actually pretty strong. So I don't have any great fears about that, and I think there'll be a decent crowd. Obviously, Wimbledon will take quite a few, so looking forward to that. And I think we've got a great chance of progressing.
Yeah, I think someone had worked it out that I think if we'd lost by a certain score and someone else won by a certain score, we were both kind of like, oh, okay, we should be all right. That we should still qualify. And I didn't realise the money in this was actually so good. I heard Dan from Gandamonium on a different podcast, and he was saying it's about 10 grand per win, which is obviously a huge incentive to. I mean, other clubs might not think so, but to us, it's like, well, we'll have that, thank you. But yeah, so hopefully we should progress in that. I would hope so. It should be a good game, but I'm not. From my old man chest, I'm gonna have to check on what the weather's going to be like before I decide on that. Cause it's so pathetic. But I'm going to kind of wrap it up there, guys. We've kind of covered the main bits. Thank you very, very much for all your thoughts and opinions, and thanks for thinking about some of the stuff as well. Normally people do it just like, what are you dumping on me now? So I will wrap it up there, unless there's anything else that either of you wanted to cover.
I think we're good. Cheers, Mike.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Not from me. Yeah. Thanks,
Excellent.
Mike.
Thank you very much. And Mark, thank you again personally for the little messages every week of whoop up.
Yeah, keep them coming. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, did you listen to the music when I sent it to you the first time round? Because I'm convinced you didn't.
I think I did, yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. I've heard it before anyway, somewhere.
Right. No problem at all. All right, I'm just going to say goodbye now, sign off, and speak to you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All the best, chaps. See ya.
Thank you. Bye. And joining me now is my next guest, and it is Corey, who is a Hayes Yeading supporter. So, Corey, tell us a bit about yourself. Essentially, who are you?
I'm Corey. I'm 24 years old. I've supported Hayes Yeading since they've merged, but before that, I used to support Hayes. My dad took me to my first ever Hayes game, which ironically was Hayes v Yeading. And
do you remember when that was, roughly, how old you were?
That was 2005, 2004.
Oh, okay, that can't have been too long before they merged, was it? It was about 2007, I think it was.
About 3 years. I think we merged in 2007. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And what was the bug? What bit you about? Because obviously at the time, 2007, everyone would have been supporting Man United's, Man City's. What made you choose little old team?
Just I went with my dad a couple of times and then started going more regularly, and then I found the bond between the fans, the players, the management. Everyone knows everyone. You feel a part of something rather than just being a fan who gives money, you know, to a big chairman who never appreciates it, or you know, a Man United and Man City who they're just full of money. They don't care about the fans as much.
That's called a customer,
Yeah.
not a fan. So
Yeah, customer. Yeah.
similar to where Sutton were not too long ago. We were. I mean, I think we were in the same league six, 7 years ago.
2016 when we got 2016 we got relegated to Conference South.
Yeah, so we kind of, I think, probably went similar-ish about the other way. But yeah, it's I don't know if you saw my Twitter. There was an under-18s game against Gillingham the other night, and someone had just put that they were delighted to see the chairman of our club on car park duty at an under-18s FA Cup match. And it's little things like that. It's like that's why we support these clubs.
And you never lose the touch of supporting them because of those sort of things. The extra mile supporting the under-18s, you know, because they're the up-and-coming talent of your club.
Exactly, yeah. But we're going to focus a little bit on the game this weekend. Yeah. Very strange position for a lot of all our Sutton fans. We've obviously been the underdogs before. We're playing lower league clubs, but we've never been the league club playing the lower league clubs. And we couldn't have chose an easier tie, really. A team that's completely undefeated for the whole season so far. Absolutely
Even on Tuesday, we had a League Cup game against Waltham Abbey. We chucked our under-18s out and still managed to somehow win 3-1. And I just didn't want to go through because it's another game, another pile-up. I just wanted to lose out on one little cup, and we still somehow managed to win with our kids out.
Well, I literally just saw. I'm not a great one for research. I'm going to be honest with you, but I did just quickly have a little look, and I've noticed that by the time your next league game comes round, it would have been almost a month.
Yeah, our next league game is Farnborough on a Tuesday, who are top at the moment. But by the time we play Farnborough, we could be 5 games behind Farnborough.
Yeah, and I saw that you are second, but it's only because I think you've got 3 games in hand now at the moment, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
games in hand.
this becomes it's a nice problem when you're doing well in the cups, especially in the FA Cup, because you get a bit of money. Obviously, I don't want you to get too well in the FA Cup, but you get a little bit of money behind you. But it is one of the prices of being successful is just the constant games, and it's hard on the fans because obviously your season ticket doesn't cover these league games, league cup games. So it's an expensive month for you all.
Yeah, well, very expensive. And obviously, we've still got Tiverton away this month as well, which is the end of the month, and that's in Devon.
Yeah, that's very south. But how were you expecting these kind of results this season, or were you? What were you thinking of the season?
Not really. No. Truro clearly the favourites, hands down. Even though they're playing at Plymouth Parkway, everyone bangs on about Truro being a favourite. Truro favourites, and even the squad they've kept. They were top not last year, the year before. Before it was curtain railed. They were in the mix last season, and now this season they're struggling. Whether it's because they've got to play away in Plymouth, but I'd have been happy with the playoffs this season. I would never have thought we'd be unbeaten now in November still.
Yeah, it's some brilliant results in there as well, and the I don't count these as a loss, but the loss was on penalties against Haybridge, but that's a draw in my book. That's not.
No, we beat Haybridge on penalties.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. We beat Haybridge. We're still unbeaten.
Sorry.
We beat Haybridge on penalties. Yeah, 4-1.
Do you know what? I saw that written down the opposite way. It
came on football web pages. Apparently, it's 4-1 Haybridge on penalties, but no, it's 4-1 Hayes on penalties.
Right. Do you know what? That is why I saw it. So that's even better for you. Worse for me. So yeah, I did definitely.
I didn't go to that game, but yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing I wanted to mention is all these things stacking up against Sutton and Banana Skin. I saw somewhere your 3rd year in a row of getting through to the first round.
Third year in a row, first round, and the first ever club at this level to do that.
It's absolutely brilliant. So you
all down to the manager, really, the management, all down to them.
But you must be bored of the first round by now, surely. You've had enough experience over the last couple of years.
The feeling never gets sold. The feeling's still the same. It's the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It's what we live for.
And so the manager, is he fairly new, or is?
No, he was here his 5th anniversary was Tuesday. So
excellent.
It was 5 years Tuesday, but the first season he was in charge, we got relegated. We won the Southern League Cup, but we were a mess, you know, off the pitch. On the pitch, we were rock bottom as a club, really, and he's come in and just changed it on his head, turned it around completely. We've gone from being second bottom in the Southern League, the same league we're now top of, and how that's happened is beyond my imagination, really.
Well, we had a similar story a few years ago. I don't know how much you know about Sutton. We were relegated to the Ryman, and we were in essentially free fall. And Doswell came in at that stage, and we were it was definite that we had to make the right appointment because Sutton, who were a big non-league side or a big name non-league side, were in absolute free fall, and he did absolutely turn the club around and change our fortunes. And then here we are, sort of 11 years later, and beyond anyone's imagination, because none of the Sutton fans that I know even considered Football League even at the start of last season.
It's not even the dream is just to play in the Conference Premier for any fan.
Yeah.
Any non-league fan just wants to play at the highest level of non-league or
the highest level you can, and I mean, unfortunately, we've seen it a lot with lots of non-league teams where they go for the boom and bust, where they spend loads and loads of money. But you guys seem like you're doing it right with the building slow. Well, building it up and doing. But so that's adding another little bit to my banana skin of your manager's celebrating his anniversary on the week of
5 years.
On the,
it was 5 years. Don't quote on it. I think it came up on Facebook. It was 5 years ago they were appointed, but I don't think he reads too much into that sort of thing, you know.
And then I also noticed that, not encouraging anyone to bet, and certainly not against Sutton, but I noticed one of the websites had you at 7-1 to win, which seems absolutely mental for a club that's flying so well. We were in the same division 5-6 years ago, and you're at home, so if anyone does want to bet on it, it's softened the blow for me.
It's there for the taking. You know?
Yeah.
It's there for the taking.
Obviously, we have different opinions on that. I think Matt will have done his homework, and I think we'll be taking this game very seriously.
I don't mean it's there for the taking. I mean the betting.
The betting, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
If you want to bet 7-1, you know,
it's one of those things. It's one of those things. I'm sitting there thinking, well, that'll at least soften the blow if I do it, but I can't bet against my own team.
You can never bet on your own team.
Yeah.
I'll probably back it, but that's me. I can't. You know, you've got to back your own team in the FA Cup.
So what can we look forward to? Because this is a new. Although we've played you before, this is a new ground for everyone, pretty much coming along. I think we've got quite a few planning on it. But so what can we be looking forward to at the ground?
Well, we've got a main stand with 1,200 odd seats, and the rest is open terrace. But shortly there should be a terrace behind the goal for fans to sing in behind the goal. We've just waiting for that to come in, and then the ground should start looking to look a bit more in place. You know.
Yeah.
We've had 2 years in a row before this year of FA Cup first round games, so we're more prepared, I'd say, now to what to expect than we were previously, because the first time Oxford, it was all a rush. I'd say a panic. We're not sure what to expect. We had to put segregation in place. We had all these unimaginable things that had to be in place for the game, and even the Carlisle game behind closed doors, there had to be certain things in place last season, which to prevent fans from going in, to prevent this, to prevent that. So hopefully now we've got more of a
old hands, more experience,
more in control, of what to expect on the day. And I think we've got 2 turnstiles, one for home fans, one for away fans, which is also, I think we had that for the Oxford. They've always been there, but I think that was mandatory after the Oxford game. We tried to keep that as the away section for big cup games. I think don't quote me on that.
No. Well, it sounds similar to, again, we had Arsenal a few years ago. We had a incredible run a few years ago. We had Forest Green, with Forest Green, Wimbledon, and then Leeds, and then Arsenal, and it just got increasingly insane as it went along. But I know you don't want to give any secrets away, and you've said that. But who are your men this season? This is a bit unfair, because I've said on our players that actually I went to the Crawley game with a friend of mine. He said, who should I be looking out for? And I said, well, I'll be honest, I can't give you a player because they're all playing marvellously.
I don't want to. They're all good as each other. They're all good in their own individual way.
Yeah, so
they're
it's
all a team. They're all a team of hard workers. Never give up. That's all you're getting.
No, that's perfect. No, do you know what? That's exactly what our lot are doing. And I think one of my guests last week coined the phrase of greater than the sum of their parts. So each player is good, but then when you put them together, there's something exceptional.
your manager's done his research. If he's done his research right, then he'll know how to play against
Yeah,
us.
hopefully.
If he's done his research wrong, then
Absolutely. So just on your support for Hayes, what's been your sort of apart from the FA Cup runs, your highlights, your sort of favourite matches or match,
well,
whichever.
when I started going home and away, this is the first few years I started going home and away, we were just going down and down and down in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So there weren't many highs at the start, but I'd say since we've moved back into our ground, we were in the Southern Central, which is the same level as the Ryman South. It took us 2 years to get out of there, and then the first season back in the Southern Prem, we made the first round. I think being at the Oxford game had to be one of the better moments of my life, really, supporting the club, because that's what you live, as I said earlier, you live for the FA Cup. You live for seeing a team live on TV at your ground in the FA Cup at home.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit of an odd one though, because you're there and you know it's on TV, and you right, someone's got to record this for me. I'm going to be watching this later.
I've still got it on record now. All these years later, it's still on there. I don't watch it, but it's just there.
It's there for when you want to, yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say, there's been a few good 9-1 wins, a few when we was in the Southern Central, we won 9-1 a couple of times. We always, when you go down to Truro and win, that's always a good away day.
Nice journey home then, because it's a rotten journey home when you lose.
We had, probably that really.
Yeah.
And one of the standout games, I'd say, before the season was curtailed in the pandemic. At the start of the pandemic, the first season was in the Summer Prem. We went down to Merthyr on a Tuesday night and won 2-1, and the squad was getting a bit thin, I think, because it was a Tuesday game. Mm-hmm. But we all dug deep and won. Excellent.
So you follow home and away mostly, or religiously?
Well, I go to as many games as I can get to.
Yeah.
If I can't go, then I can't go.
Yeah.
There's other plans, very rarely there's other plans.
Excellent. So you're looking forward to Saturday. And we're hoping now. I jinxed this when we played Walsall, so it sounds like we've got two hard-working teams, and hopefully it's going to be a good game. Do you score a lot of late goals? Because our lot have been scoring late goals. Our lot have been scoring late goals. I'm just trying to work out if I need to turn up before the 70th minute, or should I just pop in for the last 20?
We're a good squad.
Yeah.
Just at the start of the season, we were scoring goals for fun, but the goals recently have dried up. But I think that's because more teams are coming to us now. They're fearing us, so they're putting more men behind the ball. Yeah,
they're being more defensive. You'll have to kind of do a different way of breaking that down now.
What we'll probably be doing against you on Saturday.
Possibly, who knows? Yeah. Could completely confuse everyone and just decide to go for it for the first 5 minutes and see what happens. But hopefully it'll be a cracking game. I believe we're on the Red Button highlights Sunday, I think it is. And so hopefully it'll be a good match and definitely worth us all watching back again on Sunday. Yeah. I won't say good luck for Saturday. But I will say very good luck for the rest of the season, and I'm sure you'll say the same, unless it goes to a replay, in which case I won't say good luck for that either.
I think it'll be a tight, close-knit game. The first year against Oxford, it's the occasion, I think, got the better of us hands down that day. We went for it, but not as much as we, I think could have done and should have done. But it was the occasion, as I said, got to us, I think, and because the players have never been there before. But then last year we had Carlisle, and we held our own, took them to extra time, scored 2 goals in extra time, and then they literally played football for 2 minutes like a League 2 side and scored 2 goals, and then knocked us out on penalties. Yeah, we were winning 2-1 in 120th minute and still lost on penalties.
Yeah, what people who support like big clubs don't necessarily realise is this is already your 5th match. In the FA Cup
doesn't start in the third round.
The FA Cup starts so
preliminary qualifying or whatever.
Yeah, we had this all those years ago against Arsenal. We were sort of explaining that actually, if we had jumped in the third round, the same as the big clubs, this would have been our final. So you are what for third, fourth, fifth, sixth? Your semi-final stage, first qualifying. So this would be almost your semi-final stage if you were. In the Premier League, so
if we win and go through, then it is our cup final.
Yes, obviously. That's not going to
That'd
happen.
be our cup.
That's not going to happen. No. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be coming over myself. There's quite a few people planning journeys over, so hopefully
you've got a few. You took quite a few to Crawley, about 500. So hopefully the same.
Yeah, no, we
Saturday.
definitely had more than that at Crawley. Definitely, there was an awful lot at Crawley. I don't know exactly how they counted it, but yeah, there was a lot more than that. But yeah, I think there's quite a lot of people looking forward to it. It's
Should be a good crowd.
again, we've been starved of cup games because obviously
You've never
last
been
year.
on the back of a cup set, no?
Oh no, we have definitely had upsets, but we know that we're a target because, as I say, we're the giant killers.
Yeah.
But
you're a target because you beat Leeds.
yes, exactly. Yes, should have beat
people
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Should have beaten Arsenal, but we're over it. I'm over that. It's 5 years later. I'm fine. I'm fine.
That's the thing. Supporting a non-league club, you have Arsenal. You know that's going to live in your memory for the rest of your
Absolutely,
life.
it was
Till the day you're not here. You know you're going to always remember. I was there when we played Arsenal. You just see the players of Özil, all those Özil, Aubameyang, those sort of players that don't.
It was Arsene Wenger standing on the touchline at little old Sutton. It was like this isn't right.
Arsene Wenger, you know, the manager, one of the greatest ever managers, to manage the game is in your ground. You know?
It is difficult to explain to people who. Yeah. A lot of my friends are Chelsea fans and Tottenham fans, but it's nice to go to non-league again. We're all finding it very odd being league.
Tottenham at Marine last season.
Yeah.
You know? Jose turned up with a strong team to respect the opposition, and then players at Marine lived that down for the day.
Yeah, forever. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Hopefully Saturday will do the same.
Well, as long as everyone does themselves justice, it should be a good game. That's the important thing. But yeah, looking forward to it, and thank you very, very much.
It's okay. No worries.
Take care now. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And that's it for another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on Podcast. Thank you for my guests, through Andrew, Mark and Corey. Thanks for all your views and your time, Jen. It's very much appreciated. Thank you for listening. If you have any suggestions or want to give any feedback, please send it to any of my socials, which is at Sutton Podcast on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Or you can drop me an email, which is suttonpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, thanks for your time and take care. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. United!